devoted to Westbrook Village, the number of supervisors devoted to Westbrook Village, the hours that they work, and the jobs that they are assigned. Quite specific about that.
That's on page 37. I don't know if you can bring it up.
Yep, page 37, Renee?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very shocking number for people that have never looked at what our maintenance is for 2 square miles. And that's not inclusive of what you ran into at the entrance, palm tree trimming, all of that is separate from this. This is just monthly maintenance.
And given that some of us did not see the prior one, is there anything that's been added or subtracted from being that they're doing differently, or?
There were some corrections, and determination. They tried, it's all, industry standard is a 30-day written notice if we decide for any reason that we want to terminate this contract. They tried to put a 90-day notice in there where one of the lowest accounts. We caught that. Tree trimming for maintenance should be up to 12 feet, kind of per city code, to get trash trucks and our RVs on WVA and things like that. Just a few tweaks, but no major changes whatsoever. Man hours, boots on the ground is what we call it in the landscaping world. All of that stays the same. We have our 2 daily porters that do the rec centers and the perimeters and things like that, plus the maintenance and the supervisor and the irrigation tank.
And they have a provision for free design services, and they designed that lovely area that was mentioned at the beginning of this meeting. Free. So that's in there also.
I know 2 other communities that use SDL that went out to bid this past year. They clearly stayed with them. Yeah.
I would like to compliment them because the area that I live in Cypress Point, we have a common area that runs from Utopia to 90th Lane paralleling 91st Avenue. When we moved in 2016, we saw landscapers. We did not see landscapers again until SDL took over. It was a mess. And we see them probably every month or 2 now. I mean, they're
Every 5
very, very
weeks.
diligent.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I want to say for people that don't know, that maybe are new or whatever, they actually saved us thousands of dollars in terms of water. They went through and checked all the sprinkler heads and everything, and did all that kind of maintenance that had never been done before. So I feel that, you know, and that increase, I mean, 15%, how much has the grocery bill gone up in the last year? You know, you've got to figure they've got to buy the gas and all that kind of stuff for all that equipment. And so to me, I actually, when I look at that number, I think that's pretty reasonable for all of you.
You have some hand over here? Yes.
Well, I know it's a large property here, and a lot of it's consumed by golf course and homeowner, other, what do you call, duplex associations. So there's a lot of areas that are not there. I mean, we look at this whole thing as a whole, you go, yeah, that's well worth it, but there's probably 60% of it or more, or 70% of it looks like it's maintained by other than this company. That's what.
How many acres do they maintain for us, do you know?
13 acre, wait a minute. Mike, we talked about that. I think turf is 3 acres and total acreage is about 11.
I don't know. Not coming into my head.
Yeah, so that's all the perimeters, that's all the green belts, that's all the rec centers, that is all the medians. We do all the medians, and we do all the monuments to the 42 subdivisions and things like that.
I would say they are vastly the preeminent supplier of landscape work in this community.
I mean, I know it seems high, but I mean, I was in the business, but it seems, I know I've been out for a while, and of course I know things have gone up way up. Just looking at it as a whole project, it seems a little high, but again, I haven't been in the business for a while, so
Yeah,
I know price of gas.
as Karen indicated, 3 years ago when we entered into this contract, we had 4 other applicants. Was there 3
I
or
think
4?
we ended up getting, More total
And we
bids.
interviewed them extensively. We had them submit extensive, very detailed bids. And frankly, nobody came reasonably close to SBO. It wasn't even close.
And they have really improved the appearance in many areas of our community.
And a lot of things that, for example, you may pay your landscaper to do during the course of the year, fertilization, weeds, things like that, are included in their basic price.
Right.
No extra charges. Look under common area maintenance, and everything with the exception of replenishing the granite, for which we have a separate budget, but everything else, breaking it, trashing, sweeping, weed control, pre-emergent and post-emergent, it's all included. So I'd say it's very reasonable.
Okay, we didn't get a motion on this. May I have a motion, please?
I move that we approve the new 3-year contract with SDL.
That's Mike Green. And a second, please?
I'll second.
That's Bruce.
Bruce.
Yeah. I wondered him. We're just Facebook friends. Come on. Okay, so here we go. Any further discussion? And yes.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty unanimous that we're very happy with the way that this group that you guys have hired has taken care of this community. It looks fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
I also want to say I appreciate you sitting there and listening to all our questions because it shows that you've done your homework and that's what we want to know. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, please raise your hand. All in favor? And that is unanimous. If you want to say aye too.
That's
Still ready.
Yeah, so raise your hand. Great.
And just for a note, sir, if you'd ever like to come in and look at what the landscape committee did 3 years ago and look at the comparisons, just shoot me an email and you can come in and look at all of that and all the other bids and things like that. We're more than welcome to share that with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next up is the AED request. And I need a motion on this item for purposes of discussion and for a little bit of a presentation.
I need a motion.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the funds to install the AED units at the pickleball court and the tennis court as presented by Karen. And she does have a supplier here, do I need to name the
Use
supplier?
the name that.
By American AED, correct?
Correct.
Looked like that was the most beneficial.
And the amount, please.
And the amount is $2,768. No, that's total. Which is incredible.
Okay, and may I have a second to that?
Yes.
Max Allen seconded that. And any board discussion or questions?
Yeah, this particular quote didn't include an alarm box, that's how I read it.
Correct.
And were we gonna was that still something we wanted to add to that?
So this did include the alarm boxes.
It did include it?
Yes.
Okay, then I overlooked it.
On page 15 on top.
So if you look at page.
Oh, it's there, I apologize.
That's okay. So Sean, do you want to kind of give us an overview of your research? Sean has done a great job and found us some great equipment that, knock on wood, should sustain the heat in these locations.
I just doing my research online and followed a couple different vendors, kind of picking their brain and really diving deep into this. It looks like the FRX by Philips is something that will be able to withstand the temperatures that we have here in Arizona. They're showing that the machine can go from -4 degrees to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. I am proposing that we install the new unit under the pergola at pickleball and at tennis as well to provide more shade. That's obviously going to help. And then the boxes are going to be a to access them. So they're not going to be a theft in their box, but it's going to be something to store them outside and keep them, a little bit more out of the element. They're super easy, user-friendly. Easy as 1, 2, 3, they say. We have an infant key that we're looking to purchase as well, so it's just another set of pads that get clicked in and it dials down the amount of shock that it gives the person if they're underage.
So we're gonna add one near the pickleball courts, and then we're gonna add one where we never had one before at the tennis courts.
The tennis courts, yes.
And what's gonna happen to the one that's mounted on the wall by the bathroom at the pickleball courts?
So I was discussing that with Karen, and I think we were going to move that to a different location at Vistas to be available, and we were speaking about the ballroom. So we wouldn't have two right in that location. We'd
Right.
be able to utilize it and spread it out longer.
Right.
So we do have one over in the fitness center, we have one over in the dance room, and I would like to move that one from the breezeway over to the ballroom.
Anything else?
Yes, well,
Just want to say you're going to have some training for this thing too, which is important for the community.
So everybody's seen the e-blast file with the city of Peoria is coming to do AED and CPR training. We do that 2 to 3 times a year, and it's free and it's open to everyone. And thank you to the pickleball club for doing your training. I think that was very important as well.
Yes. Okay. With that, I'll call on the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand and/or say aye. Aye. Meeting's getting long, people. Okay. That was unanimous, Jody. Okay, thank you all for listening. Now we go on to the town hall SOP. I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm going to let Tim, you have 2 submissions here on this. Tim wrote an SOP, for people who don't know, that's standard operating procedures of his committee that he's chair of for the town hall. And then Karen and I both reviewed it and we redlined it according to our current SOPs. We don't have this type of written documentation on any other committee. Board members usually come and have participated in enough committees that they know what the SOP is. But Kim wants to do this for us, so I'd like to hear him discuss his SOP.
Okay. First of all, thank you for taking the time for being here and listening to this. So I created a standard operating procedures for town halls because there wasn't one. I got a small committee together and we went extensively over what we believed that we needed to hold adequate town hall meetings. And I'm okay with the changes that were made by Amy and Karen. What I'm probably going to do is annex mine. So if we decide to have a town hall meeting where we need to make sure that we follow the open meetings law, that we dot every I and cross every T. So that's what we're going to do. What I would like to have happen is to have a motion to have the board accept the standard operating procedures for town halls in accordance with what Amy put together as well as Karen. The only added item that we need to add to that is to make sure, Karen pointed out that there's time constraints to get it into the Living magazine, and that's easy to do.
So do you want to read yours and then read what Karen and Amy have proposed, or are we just going to okay theirs?
Yes, I can do that. I can read it verbatim. So here we go.
Do you want to go over that?
Well, are you asking me?
If you're recommending we seem to all be in agreement with one, just read that.
Sure, we can do that. So this is what we got. We got it up there now? Okay, perfect. So again, this is a draft, and the purpose is town hall meetings are convened by Westbrook Village Association to foster information, disinformation, communication, transparency, and collaboration between residents, the board of directors, and management. These meetings serve as a platform for residents to be informed, voice concerns, provide feedback, and engage in discussions relevant to the community welfare and development and preparation. Schedule. Town hall meetings should be scheduled in advance, ensuring adequate notice to residents. The schedule should be communicated through the official channels such as newsletters, emails, monthly magazine, and community notice boards. You can see where it was lined out, and I'm just going to read it in parentheses here. No agenda to create, as town halls are single topic focused, and that should be conveyed in the advertisements for the meeting. Venue arrangement. Arrange a suitable venue with a community that can accommodate the expected number of attendees. Chair and or vice chair work with the staff to complete a proper floor plan to ensure proper seating, table arrangements, of course, lighting and audiovisual equipment to effective communication. Documentation. Prepare necessary documents, reports, and presentations related to agenda items to distribute to attendees. Conducting the meeting. Opening the meeting shall commence with a welcome address from the president of the board of directors or another designated official. A brief indoctrination of the program is appropriate at this time. Let's see. Q&A session and dedicated question and answer session shall be included, allowing residents to seek clarification on any matter related to the town hall topic. Resident participation. Residents shall be encouraged to participate actively in discussions, share their opinions, and provide feedback. A suggested time limit for each resident will be established at the beginning of the Q&A session with a respectful and constructive atmosphere maintained throughout the meeting. Town halls are a single topic focus. No agenda is generated, and it is not a multi-purpose meeting. My impression is that you are conducting a town hall as a replacement board or a committee meeting. This is an incorrect approach. That's correct. They said so.
I know that.
Yeah. Again, next paragraph, no formalized board action taken at town halls. These are not official meetings where association business is discussed and its procedural elements follow. They are for community interaction in a more informal format only. Closing, residents shall be thanked for their participation. Next item here, post-meeting procedures, follow-up actions. Board members and management shall assess the input received during the town hall to determine if further discovery, possible meetings, or actions are necessary. A feedback mechanism here. Establish a feedback mechanism for residents to provide input on the effectiveness of the town hall meeting, agenda items, and overall communication process. Next page here, page 3, any addition, updates, or announcements arising from the meeting shall also be communicated properly. Amended SOP. This SOP shall be periodically reviewed and updated as necessary to ensure alignment with the evolving needs and dynamics of Westbrook Village Association. So, that being said, my question for you is anybody, we need to have a motion to, what would you like to do with this?
And did you make the motion? I think you made the motion.
I think, okay, I did. I'd like to have a motion to adopt the standard operating procedures for town hall meetings.
I second.
Okay, board discussion, any questions? Anything else?
Cross his T's and dot his I's.
Yes, I see a bunch of hands. Who went up first?
The single topic what's the purpose of having a single topic for a town hall meeting? We're gonna haul ourselves down to a meeting, can't we talk about what?
Well, usually it's a big topic for it to generate a town hall. It's a big topic like safety. We had a town hall when there was a long-range plan developed. That's what I mean by a single topic focused meeting.
The last one we had was water conservation. We had presentations by the Landscape and Facilities Committee. We also had the city director of water conservation here with one of his folks. So it was an extensive presentation that I would say lasted well over an hour.
Yes.
And the one prior to that was when we began the process of redoing the areas along the walls of Edgewater. And we had a town hall to demonstrate to the community what that area might look like if it was converted to xeriscape and so on.
They are huge topic meetings. If you have individual questions or concerns, we urge you to come to the committee meetings or the board meeting with that as an issue. But
So when was the last town hall meeting there? Years ago?
the last town hall was this water conservation.
I think the amendment initiative too was one that we did.
Yes, an amendment initiative. There have been some that were regarding scamming.
I mean, when was that?
The last one was the water.
I'd say it's been a couple of years.
Couple of years ago.
Right after COVID.
Yeah, right after COVID.
I foresee some coming up in the fall regarding that parking issue, state-generated issue.
I also would like to recommend, and have already recommended to management, that we redo the water conservation one, because I think the information that the city of Peoria folks provided us was really important for everyone to hear and be knowledgeable.
Okay, anything else, John?
Maybe I missed it, but who calls the town hall meeting and who decides what the importance of what?
It's the board of directors.
You guys, okay.
But, you know, we take the temperature of the community and see what need we feel is out there. Paul, do you have anything? You did raise your hand. I'm sorry, Vin.
Just for clarification,
Yes.
let's take the redoing of the gym. Is that something that we talked about at town hall meeting?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So who's required to be at the town hall meeting from the board?
Nobody's required to be on the board. I think we all attend. We scatter ourselves out in the audience so that we do not discuss the issue. It's not a board meeting. That was my concern with Tim's original thing, that board business might get inadvertently discussed in a way that is breaking the open meeting laws. So we spread out and attend. But I feel that most town halls don't have unanimous board attendance for whatever reason. We hold them in the evening a lot of time, and people have just been unable to come.
And usually, to just piggyback on that, the town hall is chaired or kicked off at least by whomever committee is responsible
Yes.
for that particular topic. So, for example, in the case of water conservation is my committee, so I chaired that. Edgewater, same thing. But, you know, if we were to have one for the gym, it would most likely be chaired by the chair of the long-range planning committee.
Yes.
So would we be able then to ask questions of whoever the board members are?
Absolutely. Not the board members, but
The
whoever's
presenters,
conducting the meeting,
The
yes.
chair of the committee.
yeah, the board members are not there for questions at a town hall.
We're
They're there to hear
as
the input
residents.
of the residents.
So for example, when we had the conservation. If there were questions, it was directed at the podium, and the expert from the city or the SDL person who was there or myself picked it up and answered the question, but we didn't ask the various board members who might have been in the audience what they thought.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, with that, I'll call for the vote. Please raise your hand and don't say hi. Okay, that's unanimous, Jody. Thank you.
Tim and Steve?
I didn't announce that. Jody, did you get who made the motion? Tim made the motion and Steve seconded it.
I got it.
Okay. Very good, thank you. Electronic voting discussion, and I remember, Debbie, that you have a letter you want to read it back.
Okay, so should I start?
Yes, for purposes of presentation.
Okay. So I'm bringing to the board recent information that's been brought to me. Our volunteer leaders that have done our annual meeting voting have officially retired after 11 years of doing this, of putting together the volunteers and overseeing this. They've decided that they've done it for 11 years and they're ready to retire. So I am going to broach the subject once again that we looked at in 2017 about electronic voting. This is the perfect transition with losing our head volunteers that run the voting process. If the board would consider looking at e-voting, Susan and I have been collecting companies that we would like to get multiple proposals from and bring it back to the board to consider that. I believe technology, I think improvements, a lot of things have changed since 2017, and the safety features that are in the e-voting world now is much more secure based on IP addresses and making sure there's not fraudulent use and things like that. And a big concern when we looked at this before was our residents that were not technology based, okay? Most of the electronic voting companies now in the HOA world we still have to send a letter out. We still need to give everybody their code to log in and vote. And the final paragraph says if you don't have the ability to use an electronic device and you still want a paper ballot, call this 800 number and we'll get one emailed to you right away. So I think that they've improved on all that. So I'm just looking to the board for direction on starting to research e-voting for the upcoming year.
I think that we should task our staff to do that and make a presentation similar to the Zoom presentation that we had with slides and whatnot, so that we could see the differences in the companies that are being active in that industry. Okay? Any other board commentary?
Is that something you can do by next board meeting? Is that
We can try.
a stretch?
It's a matter of getting the bids back.
Right.
I'll put together an RFP with all of our data, number of properties, things like that, and send it out. I think Susan and I have 4 e-voting companies that we can send out a proposal to. Bruce, we can work toward it, but I would not guarantee that we have all the bids.
Well,
back
I'd
in 4
encourage you to
weeks.
try it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Debbie, do you want to come up and read your letter now? Thank you for waiting.
I just have a letter that I'm going to read on behalf of Nancy Millard. She was one of the doctors at the...
Can you get closer to the microphone, please? Okay, so you're reading a letter for who?
For Nancy Millard.
Okay.
Okay, so Sherry McGee and I were proctors for the recent HOA board elections. Sherry and I are unable to be here today. However, we feel our observations as proctors gave us valuable information and insight into the vote counting process. We would like to share with you today our observations and personal recommendations for future elections at Westbrook. We would first like to thank all the volunteers that participated in the election process, especially Graham and Susan. We cannot say enough about everyone's dedication, honesty, and attention to detail. Karen and Susan also did a wonderful job overseeing the process. Our primary takeaway from the process, however, is how labor-intensive it became. The entire ballot counting process took many hours over a 3-day period. It took 2 days alone just to sort through over 1,400 envelopes to separate out the ballots. On March 8, all the drop-in and mail-in ballots were due. On March 18, 10 days later, the ballots actually started to be tallied. Sherry and I have no idea where the ballots were kept during this time. We were told they were in Karen's office. On tally day, March 18, the ballots were divided into small batches. The ballots were certified and recorded on a sheet of paper by 4 groups of 2 people each, and then double-checked for accuracy by a separate group of 2 people. This process resulted in several of the ballots not matching. This now required a third count by Graham and Susan before the ballot tallies could be logged onto a spreadsheet. This made for an extremely long day, especially for Graham and Susan. I know for myself, entering all of the votes onto a thumb drive at the end of an already long day would be very challenging and ripe for mistakes. Also, the ballots themselves were very difficult to fill out. I was asked many times during our neighborhood meet and greets to explain exactly where to put the mark for the candidates. Was it the line before or after the candidate's name? In addition, there were several ballots disqualified due to no signature or too many votes entered. On a personal note, the Pickleball Club has moved to online membership applications and voting, and it's made it so much easier to process new and renewed applications. Based on our experience and observations, we would highly recommend online voting with a third party to prepare the election results. In this past election, there were only a few votes separating some of the candidates. Counting the ballots electronically would streamline the process and could make a difference in the final tallies. We're asking you to please consider the facts Sherry and I have laid out and consider online voting by a third party for our next election. Thank you for consideration, and this is respectfully submitted on behalf of Nancy Millard and Sherry McGee.
Thank you. Anything else? Yes, Vince?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on that, just because we did go to electronic, not only for membership, but to pay for any event that we were going to have. We took that burden away from the Visca's desk, collecting all of our money and managing our money, and now everything we do is online. And to Karen's point about a few years ago, you said one of the objections was, you know, electronic, and some of the older people maybe were afraid of it. We heard the same thing. And you know what? All over 500 members have already had renewed online on Pickleball Club. I think there was maybe 10 that we had to decisively help. And so you're going to hear it. It's not an issue, because I can't believe in this day and age somebody hasn't ordered something from Amazon. So, you know, we can do it, and I think it's a proposal that we should accept.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, with that.
I would just like to add
I'm
that
sorry,
it's not only the burden of time that we're putting on our staff and our volunteers, it's also a stressful situation, and it is right for people to complain or question a result. So if we can take this out of the community, I think it just makes it a lot easier for everybody involved. And, you know.
Right. Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, we have tasked her to please present all our alternatives in that voting process and as soon as possible. I don't know if it'll be next month, but just as soon as that can go forward. Sometimes when you send out a request for a proposal, you've got to give that responding company enough lead time to be reasonable. And we might be working with a time frame that it would be better off in, well, it would be September. So
We'll do our best.
Yes, yes, please do. Okay, thank you. With that, we'll go on to committee reports. Architectural Control Committee, and I would like each committee chair, when they're responding, to maybe come up with two or three little tidbits that kind of summarizes, rather than just say the minutes are in the market, so that people know a little bit of what is salient topics are. You're welcome.
People get advance notice.
Okay, then.
Okay, so architectural control. So a few words to sum it up. Well, we don't always make everybody happy, but we try.
Come on, really?
Are you working on any new standards or anything? That's really probably...
Yeah, we are. We are working on a new standard for the generator, outside generators, that would be permanent install generators, not a, at use or potential power outages for people that have life-saving stuff that they have to have and need that for. So that's probably the biggest thing that we're currently working on. We introduced our 3 new members to the last meeting, and so that was fun for them and a learning curve for coming in and being on a committee and understanding the committee.
Okay, good.
Marcy, is that, generators outside of the enclosure of the house?
Correct. Permanent generator. Yep, and the standard for that. Yes, the backup power, especially for homes that have medical device equipment or and stuff that's in there. We've had a few requests apparently, and so as a committee we've decided that we better start putting together the standard for the first application. It will eventually probably fit the desk.
I'm surprised it hasn't come up before already.
There's been a couple of inquiries, but no actual requests yet.
And they're being treated rather like the air conditioning units, aren't they? Pretty much the standards being written down?
Yes, decibel units, yes. And also like
A small one.
Tanks.
tanks.
Yes. Okay, government relations. Kim?
Yes, we're currently dealing with, we're currently talking with the City of Peoria mayor and his staff regarding what Westbrook Village can do for them and what they can do for us. And we're looking at safety issues as one of the top major topics. One of the things that has to do with town hall meetings, and I'll talk about that then, but we are talking with them right now. So.
I was at the last common council meeting. Jerry Johnson was given a nice plaque award for his 8 years of service to the city of Peoria.
You should. That's great.
It's an experience to see the mayor in action.
I have a little governmental relations thing on that. I pulled some strings and got Debbie Lesko to visit the office last week, and I want to thank the office staff for making it shiny like a congresswoman deserved. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Even the front windows I heard were done. But I talked to Debbie because she is one of the candidates running for county supervisor, and we're trying to get that strip of land across from Union Hills to be landscaped, or I really put in an appeal for a golf cart path to go from Westbrook Parkway to Fry's parking lot. So she sent me a letter this Monday and said that she was having a staff member explore the possibility for federal funding. So I need to get with the other 2 candidates that will be running for the county supervisors. But that is county-owned land, so that's where we need to end up making a real appeal to the county supervisor's office. So I hope someday we can get something done. I've been working on this for years with a lot of disappointment of it going nowhere. So Debbie was willing to come and talk to us about it. So I appreciate her time. Okay, IT, Marcy Renaud.
No meeting, but maybe something coming up with the e-voting.
Okay. Landscape and facilities, Mike?
Yeah, the landscape facilities is already discussed. Spent time on the overseas agreements. We also spent some time talking about the granite and riprap project done between the entrance country club at Union Hills. And that was about the major things there.
Okay, thank you. Long Range Planning, Steve?
We had a short meeting. We introduced 3 new members, Paul Schnetsky, Robert Freiberg, Max Allen, and Bob White was put back on the committee. Bob's been a great help. We are in the process of, hopefully tomorrow, seeing a number of architects here. The fitness center will be closed from 9:30 to 11:30.
12:30.
Oops, sorry. To facilitate discussion with upcoming architects that may want to be involved in the project.
Okay, thank you. Cornerstone Committee, Sandra's not here. We had a great donation from Sandra Evans. She donated items from the library that she personally purchased and put it in the window and whatnot. And they will appear on the Westbrook Village Marketplace site for purchase. And there's some cute and kitschy items that she totally donated them. And if you see anything you may want, they will be on that website and at the second Sundays in the fall. And we would appreciate anybody that makes a purchase for that. So, and it was quite a donation. She did a quick casual valuation of over $600. We appreciate that and hope to sell out. Okay, personnel, Mike Green.
Okay, the committee has not met this past month. However, I did participate in interviews with candidates for management positions. So we are involved in that.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Rec Committee, Max Allen.
Our Rec Committee meets every Tuesday, second Tuesday of every month at 9. Right now, under discussion is water volleyball. The idea whether we can do it, and how we can do it, what pool, whatever. And as far as any, and that's about it right now.
Okay, thank you. Town Hall, Tim, do you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, thanks for getting that procedure approved. And I talked to Karen briefly this morning about, I've been asked to bring in some political candidates, so we're looking at that. So if you have any input, please see me. I appreciate it. We need to get that on the calendar because it's going to go pretty quick here pretty soon. So we've got looking at that, and then some ideas today that were thrown out about some other ideas. But anyway, please see me at your release committees if you have anything in mind. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ways and means, can we,
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we discuss the historical, the Association of Historical stance of being neutral when it comes to the politics? I kind of explained that to Tim this morning, is that we often get contacted by one candidate.
we don't do town halls really for candidates. If question and answer session does develop, we invite both candidates at separate times to come and speak to the community. Sometimes in the past, when I managed the Second Sundays Marketplace, which I no longer do, there have been candidates that have approached me and to come at specific months. And I have always said, yes, you may come, but I want you to know I'm turning around and inviting your competitor. And that's what I always do. And we get mixed numbers of people that are willing to show up for that and whatnot. But we always invite all candidates for any position that is coming into the village.
Well, good news on that. I got your back on that. I'll take care of it for you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, plans and meetings.
We have a meeting, we always have a meeting once a month. We discussed interest rates, home sales, and we're keeping an eye on expenses here. The staff does a great job keeping expenses in line. Thank goodness we have them. Other than that, the next meeting will be June, I should know this right off the top of my head. The end of the month. Close enough, that's good.
Thank you.
June 26th, thank you.
Community member. Thank you. Okay, onward and upward to the golf course HOA joint meetings.
We had no meeting in May. We will perhaps be meeting, we haven't heard yet for sure, this month. The big topics of discussion at the golf club at the moment are the painting of the walls between the courses and the homeowners' properties, as well as disposition of the area north of the tennis courts that has been going on. It's kind of, everybody wants to do something, but it's a matter of getting 3 different parties together to decide what we want to do. But we will definitely keep it posted on what we're planning for that area. And that's, I think, about it.
Okay. Did they have an election like recently?
Yeah. I think they drafted some new people. I don't know if anybody was actually elected. We did kind of a euphemistic word for seeking volunteers.
Okay, for the good, manager's report, excuse me. There in your binder, and is there anything that any manager wishes to highlight right now? Or any questions that anyone may have? That's easy peasy. We'll move on for the good of the order. And I want to start out by saying that the project on Rose Pilar in Westwood Commons has begun, and we got notification from the city of Peoria that the turf conversion is, they are sending a check for $8,794, and we got a grant for $9,553. I want to thank the Cornerstone people.
They're planting plants over there now.
For helping write that grant, and also for Karen for walking around with the city, and also for the weekend that she and I spent on that 41-page grant. It ended up totaling $18,347. Thank you, City of Peoria. Okay, moving on.
I have some committee orders, if I may.
Yes.
Mike alluded to the Personnel Committee, but if you haven't met Colby Smithwick, Colby is our new Recreation Centers assistant over here at the Vistas. He's been in training with Susie Wilson for 2 weeks. Stop in and say hi, just don't spend too much of his time because he's a little overwhelmed right now. He's taking in a lot. So we're very happy to have Colby on our team. I believe he and Denise are going to work great together. And we had our farewell for Susie and Carolyn Sargent that was very well attended, and we appreciated that he came out for that. On a final note,
Karen,
yes,
what is Colby's last name?
Smithwick, Smithwick.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And on a final note, not going to get teary-eyed, I am announcing that Susan Craig Fabian has given her notice. She has had an amazing opportunity put before her to work for CCMC as a community manager of 900 properties. Is that right? So after 8 years, we're losing Susan at the end of next week, and we wish her the best and thank her for everything she's done for our great community.
Yeah, no crying during board meetings.
Okay, anybody else have anything for the good of the order?
Can I just make a quick comment? I was out of town when I believe it was the E-blast came through, but I really wanted to then. Like I said, I was out of town when all the vehicles kind of got broken into, and my car sat outside of my house, and just a few things, immediately I was able to call my neighbors, and because it came out so quickly when everything happened, I just really appreciate the board, Karen, Susan, for doing that thought process, because all of us, especially this summer, leave and come back and here and there, but it was just a quickness that you guys took to let us know. Like I said, I was out for 3 weeks and I was able to contact my neighbors. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, anything else, anyone? Thank you for bearing with this long meeting.